Hello everybody, 'tis I, the Rumpled One. Friday, June 15th. Another beautiful day here in the country. You can hear the chainsaws off in the distance. And maybe I should let you see the direction the chainsaws are coming from. Out that way. Way up in there. Anyway, let me make sure I got the camera frame there so we can get on to today's topic. I was just listening to the radio, NPR, and they were talking about Obama and Romney were both in Ohio campaigning. And of course, the topic was the economy, unemployment. I guess there's this one town in Ohio where unemployment's dropped. It's below the national average, about 6%. I guess Obama's beating his chest as if he's the reason why. And then Romney's, saying, well, when I go to hire somebody, if they didn't do a good job the first time, like if I hired a doctor or a painter, then why would I hire them a second time? Now what's funny is, if you think about it, just a few days ago, didn't I kind of say the same thing? You think he's watching my videos? Maybe somebody on his campaign said, hey, that guy had a good idea. We ought to use that in the campaign. I don't think so. But it would be funny. But the point is, as I was thinking, back in the beginning of America, before there was America, the political discussion was about freedom. Personal freedom. Freedom from the king, getting away from being under his thumb and his rules and his laws and having to, reach down in the pocket, give taxes from the labor. Look what's happened in 30 some years. We're almost back to square one. Actually, I think we're probably back to square minus one. Because back then, it was easy for the people to fight back. Relatively easy. Now remember, everything's relative. So back then it was tough. But the king's army versus, the people, the weaponry was even. The numbers were about the same. But if we were to try and get rid of the government as we know it, and break away from that government, is nowhere near the same. They've got these weapons that they've developed using our money. They're talking about the drones, the killer drones out there. I mean, they can spy on us with satellites. I mean, literally, right now, if they wanted to, they could focus on me with the satellite. And probably from way off there, they could probably send in a missile or something and just wipe me out. Boom, just like that. Gone. Or wouldn't have a chance. But back to the main point is that the political discourse of today is the economy and the deficit and government spending, which if we the people were doing our jobs, none of that would even really be an issue, because we wouldn't let them tax us to death. So how could they run up a deficit? I mean, we give them the power, we allow it to happen, but why don't we do anything about it? You have to wonder. We just sit back and take it, basically. It's just one of those things where most people out there don't like politics. I've mentioned that before. They don't want to talk about it. But if you don't do something about it, then you get whatever somebody else does about it. I mean, out here in the country, population density is real low, so people here pretty much are concerned about putting food on their table and paying their electric bill. Those that have the electric bill, some people don't. They're off grid. But people out here just trying to take care of themselves and their family. They don't have those quote-unquote highfalutin ideas. Simple folk. But we're under the government's thumb. Their rule. We pretty much have to ask permission to do something if you think about it. I mean, out here on my land, if I want to cut down trees and sell them, I've got to get permission. I got a creek running through my property. Guess what? If I do something on my land, I got to get permission. Got deer and elk running through here sometimes. If I want to shoot one, I got to get permission. And it just goes on and on and on. But back in the 1700s, you wanted to shoot a deer, you shot a deer. You wanted to go fishing, you went fishing. You wanted to cut down a tree, you cut down a tree. You didn't have to ask permission. So we've gone from freedom to basically no freedom. The government is like mommy and daddy. May I have permission to do this? Mother, may I? I mean, how did that happen? How did that happen? I mean, you're probably wondering, well, you know, you get there, you get in front of the camera, you pose all these questions, but what's the solution? Same solution there always is you have to get involved and take action. That's the only way anything happens, is you get involved and you take action. Whether it's just for you, your family, your town, your state, your country. Have to take action. Because if you sit back and do nothing, somebody else will take action for you. Somebody else will make the decision for you. You might not like the result of their actions or decisions. And that's where we are today. We've got these politicians making decisions and taking actions, and we don't like the results. So the question is, you going to do something about it? Or are you going to sit back and take it? Now, I'm not talking about locking and loading and having a revolution. I'm just talking about what you can do as a citizen, you know, at the voting booth, at your town hall meetings, at your city council meetings, at your county council meetings, you know, at your state. Now, I'm not talking about standing out there protesting with a sign. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about going into those meetings, reading the handouts, doing your own research, digging through the budgets, and questioning. Give them pointed questions. And say, what are you going to do about this? What actions are you going to take? Put them on the spot. And if you can, embarrass them. Because there's nothing worse for a politician than embarrassment. You're getting caught with your pants down. Sometimes literally. Look at all the scandals. Literally these politicians getting caught with their pants down. Sometimes they get caught with their hand in a cookie jar. Those are the types of things you can dig if you take the time, if you put in the effort, if you want the results. I've done it myself. Where I live, they said I was always stirring up the pot. I said, well, you know what? If there wasn't anything in the pot in the first place, there'd be nothing to stir. Now think about it. So, you have to pay attention because these people, these politicians, these elected officials of your taxing districts are making decisions and taking actions just about every day that may affect you. And if you're not paying attention one day, it's going to be too late. Can you imagine them making a law telling me I can't cut a tree down on my property? I thought it was my property. But we've had that discussion before. You could say, no, that'll never happen. Oh, yes it can and yes it has. Spotted owl, for example. Boy, somebody's got a big chainsaw out there this morning. That's probably about 2, maybe 3 miles away. Sound really carries here. Well, this video might be getting into the boring zone, so I'll just say, people, it's really up to you. While this coming election, you can sit there and listen to what they're talking about, or you can get up and say, hey, what about this? What about the real issue? The real issue, my personal freedom. I want the government, off my land, out of my pocket, out of my life, out of my house, out of my bedroom, out of my church. I want the government out. It's time to push them back. Because they're not eliminating laws to give you more freedom. They're adding laws to take your freedom away. Wake up, America. Smell the hypocrisy.